Good morning, bright and early. We've got the lake outside here. Behind us, I'm about to go for a walk, but I figured before we walk and get our day started, um, I'm pretty clear-minded. I was going through some testimonials last night, and I wanted to reflect on it this morning. So we're writing a couple scripts, doing a couple things this morning, and but I wanted to talk about this. So we'll just go with it. As I'm going through some testimonials, there's a girl who, very clairvoyant person, very empathic, just extremely sharp when it comes to understanding human consciousness. All right. We are more interconnected than we realize in the energy systems, and this person's very aware of them. As an exercise physiologist, for example, I'm a master at the physiology of the body, the energy systems of the body, but you can also include the mind, body, spirit approach. So we have energy all around us, and we are all more interconnected than what we realize. We communicate with one another in various ways outside of the whole talking thing. So when you go out there and you meet people, and all these people are wearing these masks, so to speak, and they conceal who they truly are, some much more than others, we realize that those empaths can see right through those things. And this person was talking about how they had woken up, a female in her 30s. She had her spiritual awakening where she had gone through a lot of things in childhood, and it was just a lot of unresolved trauma. And she started to take psychotropic medications, and that didn't work. And so this person thought, if I'm really going to prioritize this thing, I have to go all in. Prioritization. This is something I talk about in the pillars, in my integration pillar of my coaching strategies that I use with my clients. And so you really have to prioritize, and you have to be willing to go all in. And so this person did that. They got off the psychotropic medications, and it became life or death for that person to rewire the central nervous system, or the central nervous system, the nervous system in general. Okay. And so essentially what you're doing is you're bringing to light all of these unresolved things. Why was it that I did these things in these certain relationships, so on and so forth? You're the common denominator in things. Therefore, what is it about what you're doing that is not right? And so you go through introspection, right? So getting back, this person went through years and years of various forms of rehabilitation techniques, and to bring the person to where they were at that moment. And it is then that you can go out there and genuinely and openly and honestly vibrate out there in public, wearing as little of that mask as necessary, wearing as little of that mask as you want. We realize that as we date people, and we're living in this world of casual dating, when people have no business dating, in my mind, or dating, that's let me rephrase that. Maybe not so much we have no business dating, but dating the way we are casually, to where we're giving ourselves away way too much spiritual energy, and then just discarding, right? That's the casuality of it. When that intimacy becomes too real, right? And so this person, as they're giving their testimonial, I'm just thinking to myself, this is why I try to go and carry myself with the most, being genuine, being open, and being honest. And the problem with that, especially if you're in an avoidant relationship like I was in, when you do that and you carry yourself on a daily basis like that, that scares the crap out of somebody's nervous system. Even if you're on a first date and you connect very well with the person. I've seen this many times with people I've coached, with friends. It doesn't matter. People go on a date and they connect really quickly with a person, especially for you guys out there that you find a really nice, wonderful resonation with, or you resonate with, and you connect with immediately, and you want to see them again. You were out all night talking. You were out, wandering around the city with this beautiful girl, and you guys seem to hit it off really well, but then when you go back and you try to reconnect for a second date to reunite with that person, they're not interested, and then come to find out through the grapevine that there were a couple of red flags, okay? Or what they call red flags, you gave away too much, right? Many people are wearing that mask, and when one unveils themselves maybe a little more than what they should have, oftentimes that's going to repel people. Even if you're in a relationship where the person's in love with you, they want to live with you, they say they want to have your children, when you start to really open up the way that you do and you put yourself out there, that person's deathly afraid. And, you know, if you're an American born in this country post-World War II, you've been exposed to mass propaganda, mass programming. You've probably been raised in front of a television screen or some kind of screen. Okay, your parents were exposed to it. And so their dynamic emotionally and spiritually is out of whack and out of order. All right, this is just the simple fact of the matter. If you're an American running around out there, you're running into people who are wearing some heavy egotistical masks, okay? I'm not judging anybody by this. It's something I've had to come to grips with myself. I found myself being avoidant in certain relationships. I was an avoidant in certain relationships in the past. That is a profound thing to come to grips with, and that's one of the things that I've had to realize about this whole thing where I'm posting about a relationship I had in an avoidant relationship, okay? And amongst many other things. So this person's talking about their path and how it is life and death, and how it's important to wear your accomplishments, because we're on to bigger and better things. Bigger and better things. You learn about these things in the world, and we realize that if you choose to do the introspection and you choose to, I've got to get my coffee off the pot here, off the stove. You choose to do the introspection and the integration and realize your worth, what it was that you were protecting, your self-love, self-respect, self-dignity, all these values and the integrity of your principles, and you were willing to protect that, or you realize what you were giving away and betraying in the self, right? Now you come to that wake-up call. It's life and death for you. Excuse me. At this point, it's life and death. And so what the person was saying really resonated with me, and I wanted to give my sense into it. You're out there, you're more likely to run into these people. Anyway, we're all wearing masks, especially in this country, the Western world. And it can be kind of dangerous out there when you're casually dating and people are hooking up all the time. It's what you call the hookup culture. Man, the spiritual repercussions of that we're only seeing now. For where it's going to go, God knows. And so I could give my theories, but so I found that to be really interesting. And so it's important to go out there and find balance. And this is where a friend of mine that told me about his experience where he connected with a girl and she wasn't interested in seeing him again. And all of his friends were telling him that he gave away too much. He wasn't mysterious enough and all that stuff. And, you know, he said one thing to me that really touched me greatly. And it made me realize that, man, you know, I surround myself with some really good people. And he said, Jeremy, all these guys, my friends were telling me I gave away too much. I wasn't mysterious enough and this stuff and that. But you know what? I don't want to be with a girl who's not willing to have those conversations with me. And here's what I have to say. And then I gave away too much about myself. You know, I was genuine and honest and open. And this is where I talk about being genuine, sincere, and honest. Go out there and be genuine and honest and sincere. Are there things that maybe you don't want to talk about on a first date? Yeah, probably. But in the heat of the moment, when you're connecting with somebody, there's probably some alcohol involved. You're out walking the city. It's a romantic evening. You planted a seed one way or the other, and that person was willing to give you their time, and you enjoyed that time. It makes you see what you would like in a person, see what you might not like in a person, who's willing to go along that journey with you, knowing what you've been through. You wear that with a badge of honor. What you've been through in your life to wake up from this illusion of fear that we're living in, because we are living in, ladies and gentlemen, we are living in illusions of fear, right? That takes courage. And then the pain that you suffer in taking responsibility and accountability goes a long way for your character. It goes a long way for your self-development, your self-improvement and your self-development, those values that you nurture or you build over time, the principles that you build over time. You want to share that. And so I said to myself, man, the perfect girl, you go out there, and if I were to sit at a table with 5 beautiful women and they would say, well, Jeremy, so everybody's full of shit nowadays. What can you tell me? And I would be like, look, I'm looking for one girl who's willing to hear the shit that I have to say and then make a choice like, am I willing to go along that path with this person? Because it's going to take energy, baby. We are high frequency from here on out, man. Once you connect and see the world for what it is and the beauty for what it actually is all around you. Keep in mind, the majority of the stuff around you is invisible. You can't sense through the 5 senses. You've got to use your intuition. You have to use your anteroception, your proprioception. You have to use that 4th dimensional thinking, which requires more brain capacity. It requires a higher vibration of living, that higher energy level. You hold yourself to a higher vibrance. That one person who's willing to go in, right? And so we don't wear that mask as much as possible. We live openly and freely. Therefore, you are more clear in your intentions, more clear in your thinking, more clear and honest and genuine and vibrant in the way that you carry yourself on a daily basis. And so I found that very inspiring with what that younger lady was saying. And it goes a long way. It lets me know that we are out there battling and seeking truth and seeking genuine honesty and sincerity. And I know that people are out there trying to do it. It's a tough world that we're living in. And so when you go through this experience that I had with the avoidant relationship, I have to have empathy for that person and much love for that person because, look, I was that person as well at some point in my dating life, and not just dating life, but even in friendship as well. I had intimacy issues coming up, and it was something I was very aware of and that I've had to slowly work on over time. I honestly have improved significantly in regards to that. But why do we choose relationships with people who are wearing masks? That's the next question, and we can talk about that another time. Are you avoiding real intimacy with someone who's in touch? Like you're trying to be, like you work every day to be in touch with the self? Why are we picking people who are wearing the masks? Because we end up pedestalizing them, falling in love with them for their potential and that vision you have in the future of that person that hasn't even happened yet, instead of for who they are in that moment. That's the next question. We'll talk about that another time. Peace.